Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A collection of things wrapped or boxed together. A wrapped container. The allotment of some amount by dividing something. An extended area of land. Cover with strips of canvas. Parcel rope. Divide into parts. The developers parceled the land. Make into a wrapped container. A large sum of money, especially as pay or profit. She made a bundle selling real estate. Sleep fully clothed in the same bed with one's betrothed. A collection of things wrapped or boxed together. Compress into a wad. Gather or cause to gather into a cluster. A package of several things tied together for carrying or storing. Make into a bundle. He bundled up his few possessions. Put into a box. A collection of things wrapped or boxed together. A wrapped container. Computer science. Written programs or procedures or rules and associated documentation pertaining to the operation of a computer system and that are stored in read/write memory. A collection of things wrapped or boxed together. A boat for carrying mail. A small package or bundle. Computer science. A message or message fragment. An individual quantity of food or drink taken as part of a meal. His portion was larger than hers. Assets belonging to or due to or contributed by an individual person or group. Something less than the whole of a human artifact. The allotment of some amount by dividing something. Money or property brought by a woman to her husband at marriage. Give out. Your overall circumstances or condition in life, including everything that happens to you. Success that was her portion. Something determined in relation to something that includes it. I read a portion of the manuscript. The effort contributed by a person in bringing about a result. They all did their share of the work. Assets belonging to or due to or contributed by an individual person or group. He wanted his share in cash. A sharp steel wedge that cuts loose the top layer of soil. The allotment of some amount by dividing something. Death gets more than its share of attention from theologians. Give out as one's portion or share. Have, give, or receive a share of. We shared the cake. Any of the equal portions into which the capital stock of a corporation is divided and ownership of which is evidenced by a stock certificate. He bought 100 shares of IBM at the market price. Communicate. I'd like to share this idea with you. Have in common. Our children share a love of music. Use jointly or in common. An extended area of land. An extended area of land. An extended area of land. A bundle of myelinated nerve fibers following a path through the brain. A brief treatise on a subject of interest, published in the form of a booklet. An extended area of land. A system of body parts that together serve some particular purpose. Request for a sum of money. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of gathering something together. A publication containing a variety of works. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of accumulating. An increase by natural growth or addition. Finance. Profits that are not paid out as dividends but are added to the capital base of the corporation. A system of components assembled together for a particular purpose. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. A group of persons together in one place. The social act of assembling. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of gathering something together. Any object that can be used to hold things, especially a large metal box-like object of standardized dimensions that can be loaded from one form of transport to another. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. Computer science. The assignment of particular areas of a magnetic disk to particular data or instructions. A share set aside for a specific purpose. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. A share set aside for a specific purpose. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. A secret rendezvous, especially between lovers. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. The apportionment of seats in the House of Representatives is based on the relative population of each state. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. The act of distributing by allotting or apportioning. Distribution according to a plan. A demarcated area of the earth. 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 A recording of a song that was first recorded or made popular by somebody else. They made a cover of a Beatles song. Form a cover over. The grass covered the grave. Clothe, as if for protection from the elements. Cover your head. A fixed charge by a restaurant or nightclub over and above the charge for food and drink. The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The cover concealed their guns from enemy aircraft. Travel across or pass over. The caravan covered almost 100 miles each day. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The period covered the turn of the century. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. Under cover of darkness. Include in scope. Include as part of something broader. Have as one sphere or territory. This should cover everyone in the group. Fire that makes it difficult for the enemy to fire on your own individuals or formations. Artillery provided covering fire for the withdrawal. Put something on top of something else. Cover the meat with a lot of gravy. A natural object that covers or envelops. Under a covering of dust. The protective covering on the front, back, and spine of a book. Make up for shortcomings or a feeling of inferiority by exaggerating good qualities. Bedding that keeps a person warm in bed. He pulled the covers over his head and went to sleep. Hide from view or knowledge. The president covered the fact that he bugged the offices in the White House. Be responsible for reporting the details of, as in journalism. The cub reporter covered New York City. Covering for a hole, especially a hole in the top of a container. Put the cover back on the kettle. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. The course covered all of Western civilization. Sit on, eggs. The female covers the eggs. Protect by insurance. The insurance won't cover this. Cover as if with a shroud. Copulate with a female, used especially of horses. The horse covers the mare. A false identity and background, especially one created for an undercover agent. Her new name and passport or cover for her next assignment. Be responsible for guarding an opponent in a game. Be sufficient to meet, defray, or offset the charge or cost of. Is this enough to cover the check? Help out by taking someone's place and temporarily assuming his responsibilities. She is covering for our secretary who is ill this week. Hold within range of an aimed firearm. Invest with a large or excessive amount of something. She covered herself with glory. Maintain a check on, especially by patrolling. The second officer covered the top floor. Play a higher card than the one previously played. Smith covered again. Protect or defend, a position in a game. He covered left field. Provide for. The grant doesn't cover my salary. Provide with a covering or cause to be covered. Cover her face with a handkerchief. Spread over a surface to conceal or protect. This paint covers well. To take an action to protect against future problems. Count the cash in the drawer twice just to cover yourself. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Separate into parts or portions. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. My friend and I split up. Get a divorce. Formally terminate a marriage. An increase in the number of outstanding shares of a corporation without changing the shareholders' equity. Separate into parts or portions. Having been divided, having the unity destroyed. A split group. Separate into parts or portions. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. My friend and I split up. Separate or cut with a tool, such as a sharp instrument. An opening made forcibly as by pulling apart. An increase in the number of outstanding shares of a corporation without changing the shareholders' equity. They announced a 2-for-1 split of the common stock. The act of rending or ripping or splitting something. Division of a group into opposing factions. Go one's own way. Move apart. Come open suddenly and violently, as if from internal pressure. A bottle containing half the usual amount. A dessert of sliced fruit and ice cream covered with whipped cream and cherries and nuts. A lengthwise crack in wood. He inserted the wedge into a split in the log. An old Croatian city on the Adriatic Sea. A promised or claimed share of loot or money. He demanded his split before they disbanded. Especially of wood, cut or ripped longitudinally with the grain. We bought split logs for the fireplace. Extending the legs at right angles to the trunk, one in front and the other in back. 10-pin bowling. A divided formation of pins left standing after the first bowl. He was winning until he got a split in the 10th frame. Treat differently on the basis of sex or race. Act as a barrier between. Stand between. Have the connection undone, having become separate. Arrange or order by classes or categories. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Separate into parts or portions. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The couple separated after 25 years of marriage. Force, take, or pull apart. He separated the fighting children. Divide into 2 or more branches so as to form a fork. Make a division or separation. Go one's own way. Move apart. The friends separated after the party. Standing apart. Not attached to or supported by anything. A house with a separate garage. Mark as different. Come apart. The 2 pieces that we had glued separated. A separately printed article that originally appeared in a larger publication. A garment that can be purchased separately and worn in combinations with other garments. Divide into components or constituents. Independent. Not united or joint. A problem consisting of 2 separate issues. Separated according to race, sex, class, or religion. Separate but equal.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.